Dragon Age, the Veilguard. Veilguard. The Veilguard. I don't play Dragon Age, but so many people have been telling me that they have vocalified Dragon Age to the utmost impossible level. Let's see.
I've said this many a time before, but in all honesty, I don't think it's ever been more true than this time right here. And I need to start following my own word a little bit more because I've been right about it multiple times, which is that nothing in gaming is a guarantee. And most times people think
in modern gaming, typically the thing that's not guaranteed is that they're going to make a good game instead of pushing a message. That's true.
that's a quality thing. And I guess it kind of is. But what I really mean is that the most obvious decisions sometimes just won't be made. And I could never explain to you why. It's just safer to have that expectation sometimes. Now, I'll admit, let the guard drop a bit here with
not having a black samurai represent Japan. Yeah, that's a obvious decision that should have been made. True.
Dragon Age the Veilguard. I've been very positive on my coverage of BioWare. I'd like to say I'm fair to them compared to other people who cover them in this industry because I've enjoyed their games historically. Even at their worst with something like Andromeda, I found positive qualities in it. Anthem, sorry, I can't really excuse you. So
the what now? I'm sorry, what was that?
Excuse you.
The detective? Okay, what the hell is this though?
Anthem, sorry, I can't really excuse you. So when we started to hear murmuring that we would get a Dragon Age Veilguard trailer this weekend, felt pretty good about it. And it went how I expected in that we'll get a little reveal trailer, won't be full gameplay, and it'll cross...
The Veil Hunter? I'm sorry. I don't even need eyes to see this DUI coming into our system so rapidly. Okay, wow.
We'll cross-promote what we're going to see
Very
tomorrow
cool.
for the full gameplay reveal. But wow, did it not...
Okay, so this is the obvious baddie because, I mean, he's...
Tomorrow for the full
good guys,
gameplay reveal.
An obvious baddie because he's white. And he's probably the most stereotypical you could ever get. Nice, he even has a mustache. Very cool.
But wow, did it not go how I expected on a visual front. In fact, I had so much to say that when I was doing my 30-plus minute breakdown of the Xbox showcase, I took just a minute to talk about this trailer here, saying, look, there's so many words, so many things I got to really think over real quick. I'll catch you all tomorrow. And so here we are today in what is a double upload day, by the way. We got another fun video coming out later today that's much more positive, I'd like to say. But right now, we need to talk about Dragon Age the Veilguard. I'm a little worried about this
Oh, wait, he's the good guy? He's the necromancer? Okay, that's strange.
one already.
Oh.
The tone...
Oh, man, it's the classic Black Elf. You gotta love it. Okay, so, yeah, coincidentally... So, the trailer for Dragon Age, the Veilguard, is something like 200k dislikes to roughly 20k likes. So people are not happy. And if this is the trailer, I mean... Yeah, I can feel the diversity not being pushed at all here. No, not at all. Wow, okay.
Of the trailer.
I hope the main objective of this game is to combat whiteness, honestly, at this point. Kind of looks like it.
The character designs. It is so anti-Dragon Age. Not just in a personal feeling like, oh, it's anecdotal. I'm going to show you today separate reveal trailers for all of the three other...
Also, is that supposed to be a Lord of the Rings reference? Because it kind of feels like it.
For all of the three other Dragon Age games. And you are going to see with your own two eyes...
Oh, what the hell
how
is that?
different the...
What the hell was that right now? Gosh, the Dragon Hunter. Okay there, Chief.
Eyes. How different the reveal for Veilguard looks compared to what we've got in the past. Even when entries like Inquisition didn't light my fire fully, they are very much Dragon Age in spirit, in look, in theme, in tone, and I don't want to jump the gun too hard. It's possible.
Well, to be fair, a lot of games now are just a political message. Look at Perfect Dark Code, whatever. Eh.
I guess this could have just been a...
You're literally playing as Karen who got pissed off at the grocery store, okay? It's gonna be a wild ride, boys.
Really bad reveal trailer, but there's some elements that I noticed in past reveal trailers that carried into the full product where I'm not really so sure that this game is going to look very similar to past Dragon Age games, and let alone maybe even not feel like one. We'll see. So let's talk about Dragon Age Veilguard as we know it now, and we'll be back tomorrow to talk about the gameplay reveal. Hopefully something positive out of it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you're into what's going on with BioWare, whether this game is going to be a success or a
BioWare. BioWare. That's a funny name of disaster.
failure, I'll be covering it a lot. Consider subscribing. Now, before we dive deep into any trailers, any
By the way, this was old Dragon Age. Again, didn't play it, still saw it.
comparisons, any talks, any feelings at all, I do want to, in fairness, put this in front of everyone at the very beginning of the video. Shinobi602, great guy, takes I trust, and also, most importantly for many of us, big BioWare fan, wrote this. I got a sneak peek at gameplay of Dragon Age Veilguard. Not the entire thing and can't give details, but what I saw reassured me that BioWare has cooked up a very fine-ass meal. Y'all know how much I love Dragon Age and Mass Effect. I don't hide it, and I get some of the skepticism from the trailer.
Okay, so the litmus test for this guy, if you love Mass Effect, how much do you love Mass Effect Andromeda? If the answer is yes or anything close to that, you kind of fail.
Specifically the tone. But from what I saw, it's absolutely still plenty dark, gritty, and a huge step forward in quality for the series. If the rest of the game keeps that up, oh boy. Now, this is one gentleman's take. In fairness, it's a take I would trust, but it still is just one take. We'll see for ourselves tomorrow. But for those of you who are coming in here, feeling the doom, this may lift the spirits just a little bit. I still have a little fear based on what was happening in the trailer itself, which I'll break down. It could be I'm overanalyzing it. I want to also be open and honest about that. And toward the end of this video, I'll talk a bit about some potential positives within this trailer. But now, on with the rest of the video. I want
Potential positives, I like the optimism.
to begin by just having you lay some eyes on the trailers that have come out in the past. No doubt you've already seen Veilguard's trailer. It was actually trending on YouTube for probably the worst reasons. There's already been a lot of videos made about how bad it looks. And when you look at something like Dragon Age Origins, even down to the logo appearing on screen, it's a blood splatter that turns into BioWare. Dragon Age has always been dark fantasy. And even here you see the Grey Warden with Duncan's voiceover, and it's masterful, but it's also dark and gritty. I don't think it gets much darker, and frankly, I don't think it gets much better than Dragon Age Origins. So to me, it's like, okay, creme de la creme, top of the mountain, series evolves, series change, Maddie, you're being a stick in the mud. Okay, then I look at Dragon Age 2. You have Hawk facing off against who I believe is Arishok, and it's a one-on-one battle. Again, the blood splatter turns into a dragon now, so the logo appearance is still in that same spirit, and bada bing, bada boom, combat. You have Flemeth doing
Does this new logo turn into a rainbow?
nice voiceover.
I hope
it's
so.
very much Dragon Age, right? It's still dark fantasy, still bloody, still brutal, still gritty, and you have a voiceover kind of talking about what's going to happen next. Then we move on to Dragon Age Inquisition. This is called the Breach trailer for when the game was revealed to be coming out in November, and you see this one's a little bit more similar to what we got in Veilguard. A slightly different art style, but still the colors are a bit desaturated. It's still a little bit more gritty. You do see the full party though, kind of like what you saw with Dragon Age the Veilguard, but little changes in character appearance, grit. Okay, I think it's a little more easy to stomach.
Wow, you can, yeah, comparing these trailers, you can tell the first ones were really good. And these are like toned down. Oh, gotta get that PG-5 rating or whatever, so, you know, toddlers can play this. Kind of feels like it, doesn't it?
Because the technology was evolving and we were getting Dragon Age games at a much quicker rate, right? When you look at it, it was 2009, 2012, and then 2014. So we were getting Dragon Age games pretty rapidly. Now it's been about a 10-year gap, and we get hit with this, the, as I've called it, Marvelification of Dragon Age. I mean, this trailer, even if this is just a one-off here, and the game looks totally different, more...
There's no such thing as a one-off trailer. Every trailer that is put out for a game represents the game, the desires of the developers that they made it. So if one trailer looks really, really bad, chances are everything else is gonna look bad, and the game itself is gonna suffer from that. I cannot personally think of a single game where the trailer was trash, but the game was super duper good, or something like that. Or the opposite, where the trailer, well, actually, that I can't think of. But still, there's no such thing as a game where the trailer was absolute dog water, but yet at the same time, the game was amazing.
In line with what we've expected from Dragon Age. I don't want to harp too hard on this fact, but EA, BioWare, whoever approved this, bad job. Just got to be real. Terrible job, even. Why do I say it like that? Because it shows that you have disconnected from what made Dragon Age Dragon Age. If you are trying to sell this to current fans, you absolutely, unfortunately, failed. All you did was create concern. No current standing Dragon Age fan looked at that trailer and went, that reminds me of Dragon Age. If you told me that was the trailer...
Wait, I love the thing with the Black Elves. Magic has Black Elves. Everything now has Black Elves. Lord of the Rings is pretty much only Black Elves almost at this point. But, well, not true, but, you know, close enough. I love the fact that all elves are black now.
For a spin-off Dragon Age game, I probably would have believed you. If you told me that was a trailer for a spin-off Dragon Age multiplayer game, funny enough, formerly the idea behind this title, I would have believed you. Now, again, seeing the characters as they are, trying to strip myself from the emotion of the moment, looking at it objectively, I will...
You can, by the way, you can tell so easily that this character is already only gay, which is great. Only.
Emotion of the moment, looking at it objectively, I will say that some of the concepts do excite me. I think Varric being a little bit older looks really cool. I've never been the biggest Varric stan. Like, my favorite characters in the series are more like Liliana. Like, I prefer her, Morrigan. I'm a big Origins guy. So yeah, like Alistair, like, I prefer that cast of characters. But Varric was definitely the shining star of 2. And even Inquisition.
But killing refugees, that is unacceptable. Jeez, that is banned in Europe.
When you brought back characters like Liliana, I mean, that just kind of brought things full circle for me as you're playing politician. So I like how you have Varric here. It appears that Harding is actually going to be a more competent, capable character in this game and maybe a main party member. I'm kind of interested in that, so I'm cool with that. Some of these other characters are interesting looking, but there's ones like the Veil Jumper where she's like, we're going back into the Veil, aren't we? And it's,
Yay!
again, that, like, look, how do I find the vocabulary for this? Some people will interpret it as Maddie being negative, Maddie harping on one line in the trailer, but when you look at the spirit and the tone of the trailer, no.
I mean, you're supposed to harp on things. That's how it happens. I can't understand the idiots who watch something, it's complete trash. They don't even think it's good, and they're like, well, let's not be negative about this, people. The game could be fantastic. You literally just saw gameplay and was trash, and you're now saying, oh, it could be fantastic? No. I hate people who are just positive on things that look bad and sad, and are like, no. This is not the final product, and the final product ends up being complete trash. And you're like, oh, who could have foreseen this coming? This is why you do dislike trailers and things, okay? This is how we save things from being bad, especially in the modern day where companies literally are making messages, not games.
Nothing about Dragon Age is upbeat. Play Dragon Age Inquisition. Get the Trespasser. Get in touch with what happened to set up what was originally Dragon Age Dreadwolf, right? The feel of the game, right? It is in a very desperate spot. Look at the initial reveal trailers for the world, the voiceovers of Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and then look at what happened here with Veilguard. It makes you wonder if there has been a shift in focus here. Now, this is where, again, I think...
Well, clearly.
The internet at times needs to settle down. We have seen a lot of pre-launch coverage, but this is where leaks and reports step in and kind of conflate, and then we have a bit of a problem here. Like, is what we saw previously under the title Dreadwolf still applicable to Veilguard? How does that exactly look and feel? And I know that Inquisition definitely leaned into a lot more color when you go to the Hinterlands or something like the Jaws of Hekon DLC, like very colorful. So some people took issue with like Dragon Age is all bright and colorful now, but I'd like to say that since Inquisition it's been pretty colorful. And that's going to just happen with how technology progresses. Like, you look at something like Dragon Age 2.
No, that doesn't happen with technology progressing. This is an artistic choice. It's very much 100% intentional, in fact. You can make the technology progress and still make a gritty, darkish looking game with, a non-bright color palette. There are plenty of games that have done this. How is this even a real take? As technology progresses, everything becomes more cartoonish and, PG-13. No, that's a lie.
And yeah, it feels very limited and confined. Dragon Age Inquisition feels a little more big and open, and a lot of time spent on making the world interesting to look at. Whereas Dragon Age, the Veilguard, if the reveal trailer, which is admittedly all in-engine footage, is anything to go by, to me, my biggest problem, beyond tone, beyond the writing / lines, beyond the failure of capturing the feel of the characters, is the look of them. Like, for example, the cheekbone placement, the facial structure.
You can't have good-looking, characters. That's a big no-no. What if you offend the fat people or, any of the slop eaters? Oh no, that's a big problem. Yeah.
I know that
We've watched the Diablo 4 trailer for Vessel of Hatred, okay? Now, I did never like that girl because she's a complete just forced insert of a character that serves no real purpose in honestly doing anything in the story as far as I can tell. But even in the Vessel of Hatred, they made her fatter. They made her uglier. She is twice as ugly as previously. In the original Diablo 4, she was okay. She was pretty decent, right? But now in the Vessel of Hatred, oh my lord, is she ugly. Fat, just completely puffy face. Again, hot characters, big no-no nowadays. Especially women characters. How dare you have a beautiful looking woman? Impossible. She needs to be short and fat. And every time you say this, someone calls you an insult and says, you have never seen the real woman. If you think all of those women, all women are as ugly as that, I would be gay. Not gonna lie, boys, because then all hopes are kind of lost.
this is like an internet hive mind kind of take, but I think it's kind of right. Like, very Fortnite. Like, I looked at it and went, man, that, when again you look at the other reveal trailers for previous Dragon Age games and I go, this doesn't look quite right. Now, if you were to say, Maddie, looks like this, but you're going to get your choice and consequence. The writing is better than you think. The gameplay is actually pretty fire. I could see my...
No. The art direction follows the story. The story follows the art direction. If your game is supposed to be dark, filled with consequences and bad things, and suddenly the color palette is all shiny, fluffy colors, then the story is not gonna be that. Because there's no way the story is actually gonna be gritty or anything. That doesn't happen. These things follow each other. They work in tandem. So, if the color palette is as friendly as this, you can bet that there are gonna be no serious actual choices in this game about anything bad potentially even ever happening.
My opinion kind of shaken up a little bit. But, taking an honest assessment of the trailer here, some of the screenshots I saw, like even
oh,
the Game Informer...
What is this? Oh, DUI Incorporated. Oh, wow. Yeah, no wonder people are super mad. If this is your marketing material, you know what they're doing. Marketing material never lies. Marketing material is sadly the most trusted source in gaming that we honestly have. Because marketing tells you exactly what the game is about. If you want to know what the game is about, just find the marketing material. Find the cover art of something. And well, when this is the cover art, you know that they're going to be fighting probably, Dragon Age version of Trump at this point, honestly. This is what it's going to be.
Cover reveal. I'm like, who are they targeting right now? As a big Dragon Age fan, I'll admit I'm a bigger fan of Mass Effect, but as a big Dragon Age fan, I feel like I'm kind of being misunderstood here or just completely overlooked. And you wonder about the position BioWare's been in for a while. We need a win. Who do we appeal to with this? Game's trending right now worldwide. All eyes are on it. Are we trying to appeal to the mass demographic, or are we trying to appeal to Dragon Age fans who will hopefully bring our game to the next level? I hope it's the latter, because we've seen how that's benefited developer after developer. And look, if you've watched all my past BioWare coverage, there has been, probably outside of my boy Jackdaw, no one else pulling for a BioWare W on this web more than me, okay? So I don't want to hear this whole negativity wave or how I'm just taking a dump on BioWare for some good viewership. I have been authentic in my excitement for them, and I know I've heard behind the scenes murmurs like, the game's great. There's a lot of confidence. BioWare's really happy with it. Okay, but I got to trust these two things on my face, my eyes. And what I saw did not line up with, not even just what I expected. It just doesn't line up with past trailers, past games, past feels, past tones. Feels like a large departure from it.
Now, to be fair and say one positive thing about this, even though currently not a lot seems positive, if anything, a game-changing game direction is not necessarily a bad thing always, because that can be a success, but typically it's a failure. Typically it's a failure. And I'm someone who likes to work with the laws of averages more than hopes and dreams and all of that fruity stuff, okay? And the laws of averages dictate it's been 10 years. The world is extremely woke now. Gaming has been politicized to the utmost degree pretty much possible now. And everything needs to be about diversity, equity, and inclusion, or BlackRock doesn't supplement your endeavors. So, what are the chances that this direction change is not governed by some of the things gamers hate? Well, not a lot. The chances are pretty slim that that's the situation. Okay.
And the only thing I will say, in complete fairness and openness, is this was a trailer designed to introduce you to the characters of this game. And by that I mean we already knew the Dreadwolf was the main villain. And they built a lot of trailers around Solus. However, when the name changed to Veilguard, it's there that we saw in the Dragon Age blog post that they said this is more about the focus for us and we're not putting a big spotlight on it, so we're changing the name. And it's like, okay, maybe they just want a trailer to showcase the characters. I don't think they did a great job at it at all, but okay, maybe they just wanted to show off the characters and they thought this was the most fun way to do so. I don't like how they introduced them almost like this 80s action movie flick where everyone gets like a name card and stuff. Like it reminds me a little bit of Borderlands too. Like it fits Borderlands totally fine. It's a little comical, a little whimsical. Go for it. But Dragon Age, like I was
Borderlands is completely different, I would argue. Borderlands gives off such a different impression and vibe.
Expecting, if we're making this game that's got a tighter cast of characters, that it's going to be a trailer of them all working together and kind of indicating what happens in the game. That was the other problem. I didn't really get an indication of what happens in the game. For the sake of not going on too long, I'm just going to stop right there because I do want to see gameplay. I had my thoughts on, do I hold my opinion?
I'm surprised even that we have one white character, honestly. The longer this goes on, the more you can play spot the white guy in any trailer for a game or series or whatever. For example, again, The Acolyte, the best show ever, you know? You watch the trailer, and you can play literally spot the white guy, they don't exist. Then you watch The Acolyte, and the only white guy kills himself out of guilt. It's so hilarious.
Now, and then deliver after when the gameplay is revealed. But the more I thought about it, the more I just felt very disappointed by what was shown off, and I felt it was important for me to document that here so that if I ended up really liking the gameplay, we can show that transformation and how we got there, or if I ended up disliking it, we can just continue the conversation and see where it goes.
The gameplay could be good, honestly. There is a shot at that, right? Because it's really hard to push a message in gameplay on average. But if everything surrounding the gameplay is just, you know, well, what we have currently seen, then it's not gonna be good. Anyway, haven't played Dragon Age, and it looks like I'm not gonna start at this rate. Even though, again, I have heard good things about previous Dragon Age entries, so, you know, it's a shame. It's something I didn't play, but, you know, it did look like something that it's like, oh yeah, this looks cool. But now this doesn't look cool. This looks very bad. And understandably, people are upset. Makes sense. Anyway, this was Quizzer Said. Bye bye. That was Matty Plays, by the way. What a time to be a time.